You've probably thought about free will, right? It feels like this huge, mysterious philosophical question. But what if the key to understanding it, and, actually getting better at it, is that voice inside your head, the one talking to you right now? Let's get into it.
So let's go back to 2010. Basketball superstar LeBron James makes this massive, career-defining decision. And when he's explaining his thinking, he says this. Now, notice how he starts with I, but then when he talks about making a calm, rational choice, he switches and talks about himself by his own name. At first, that sounds a little weird, doesn't it? But what if that simple switch in language wasn't just some random quirk? What if it's actually a clue to a really powerful psychological tool that any of us can use to get more control over our own lives? To really get what's going on here, we first have to tackle that big, kind of intimidating concept, free will. Now, philosophers have been debating this for literally centuries, but we're going to look at it through a much more practical lens.
From a psychological point of view, free will is actually defined pretty simply. It's just any form of significant control that you have over your own actions. It's about your ability to choose, your sense of agency.
And while those deep philosophical debates are super interesting, they can make free will feel like this abstract thing we can't really touch. But psychology gives us another way in, one that suggests the mechanism for free will isn't some mysterious outside force, it's a thinking process we use every single day.
So if we're looking for an answer we can actually use, we gotta turn to psychology. And this is where it gets really cool, because psychologists often reframe this whole idea of free will into something else. They call it self-regulation. And just look at that definition, controlling your behavior, emotions, and thoughts to hit your long-term goals. I mean, that's everything from not eating that second piece of cake to studying for an exam instead of binge-watching a show.
Do you see how similar those are? It's almost the same thing. And that's the big idea here. A lot of researchers argue that when we talk about using our free will in day-to-day life, what we're really talking about is just practicing self-regulation. Okay, so if free will is really just self-regulation, that kind of takes some of the mystery out of it. But it brings up another huge question. How do we do it? What's the tool in our mental toolbox? I mean, really think about it. When you're trying to work through a tough problem or talk yourself out of a bad idea or just plan your day, what is actually happening inside your head? You're talking to yourself. You're using your inner speech. That's the scientific name for your internal monologue. That voice inside your head that helps you plan and reflect and basically run your life. It is the engine of self-regulation. And this right here just ties it all together perfectly. See? Free will isn't some magical force. It's a skill. That skill is self-regulation. And the tool we use to practice that skill, it's our inner speech. These three things are totally connected. Which brings us all the way back around to LeBron James. So now we know that talking to ourselves is the key. But what LeBron's weird quote shows us is something even more specific and way more powerful. And here it is, the big reveal. The research shows it's not just that you talk to yourself that makes the difference. The real power, the real game changer, comes from how you talk to yourself. Specifically, what pronouns you use. So look at the difference here. On one side, you've got the way most of us talk to ourselves. Why do I feel this way? We're stuck inside our own head, totally immersed. But on the other side, you've got the alternative. Talking to yourself using your own name or just the word you. This is called self-distancing. So why on earth does this work? Well, when you use your name or you automatically start thinking about yourself like you'd think about someone else, like a friend. It creates just enough mental space, a bit of psychological distance that lets you step back from the emotion of the moment and see things more clearly. You basically become your own best advisor. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a simple little mind trick, right? But the scientific results are honestly so impressive. This tiny shift in language has a huge, measurable impact on how we think and how we perform. For instance, check this out. In one study, when people use their own name or you to think about something stressful, boom, they were way more likely to see that event from an observer's perspective, like a fly on the wall. They literally created more distance in their mind's eye. Okay, so it changes your perspective. That's cool. But does it actually help you do things better when the pressure's really on? Oh, you bet it does. This chart shows what happened in a study on social anxiety. People were coached to use non-first-person self-talk before a stressful conversation. And afterwards, objective judges who had no idea what was going on
rated their performance as significantly better than the people who just used I.
And the good news just keeps coming. Across a whole bunch of studies, this simple trick didn't just help people perform better, they also felt less stressed out during the event. And get this, they bounced back from their anxiety way faster afterward. So here's the bottom line. Free will isn't some big, untouchable mystery. It's the skill of self-regulation, and it's powered by your inner voice. And just by making a tiny tweak to the words that voice uses, you can fundamentally upgrade your ability to manage your thoughts and emotions, especially when it matters most. It really makes you think, doesn't it? So the next time you're facing a challenge or you're feeling overwhelmed, you've got a choice. Are you going to stay trapped in the I, or are you going to step back and give yourself the kind of clear-headed advice you'd give a friend by using you? The answer could make all the difference.